Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today we're going to do a very interesting roster review. So let's jump into the account. This account, at first glance, may not seem interesting to you. It's only 3.6 million GP. This account is only 3 months old. There are very minimal lightspeed bundles here, so it looks like the Jedi one, the Get One Lightspeed bundle, and the Cam Lightspeed bundle. But this account does have Executor at 7 stars. All the pilots, so the bounty hunters, are already Relic 8. So Relic 8 Bosk, Boba, Cad Bane, and also I believe he has a Relic 8. Yeah, bam. So when you look at this account, you may think, yeah, interesting, just been playing for a while and just kind of did its own thing. But this account, when this player initially sent me the request, spent $22,000 on this account. And you may say, like, Captain Amazing, how would you know that? He sent me the receipts. He sent me the receipts. So this player is just absolutely wailing out as fast as he can. And I will talk about the spending habits, what he's spending on. But he did want to remain anonymous, so I'm not going to share his information, his name or his ally code. But I do want people to know, like, what happens if you spend just massive amounts of money, and the way these games kind of work, and how spending can be curtailed and done efficiently compared to kind of like wailing on everything you can. So first, let's talk about the account and the problems that he's having. So he noticed that no matter how much he spends, he just like hits bottleneck after bottleneck after bottleneck of Zetas, Omegas, Omicrons, like all these things. And when I asked him, because when I looked at the account, because he initially told me, yeah, I've been playing 2-3 months, I spent $22,000. I did not know what that looked like. I didn't know. I was like, does he have all the GLs? What's going on here? So I didn't know what $22,000 worth of spending looked like. And he said he spends on pretty much literally everything, like a lot of crystals, refreshing. So he does the double refreshes for every single energy. So not only the first tier but also the double tier. He double farms character shards. He buys a lot of these characters out of shipments, so he spends all those crystals on shipments just to instantly get the characters. So and I imagine also signal data, all the relic pieces, the scavenger pieces to get it. Like, this guy just buys it all, because if you looked at this, there's a lot of relic characters here that aren't lightspeed bundles that were just sheer bought. And that's why people say like lightspeed bundles are so powerful, is because if you don't buy stuff like that and you just like whale the old fashioned way, then you have an account like this. Because 3.5 million in 3 months is a lot. Also, like, all these relic characters is a lot. Like, they're not all lightspeed bundles. These are just some of them are, but others aren't. But it is absolutely insane, the cost of what it does. And I'll say this, there are some ways to smartly spend and not like crazy break the bank. So buying those packs that come out every Monday, where it gives like a bunch of signal data, and some relic materials, and is good. That's a good pack. Buying those, I think they're $7 now. The $7 Kyrotech packs are good if you want to maintain your crystals to kind of do what you need to do as far as like refreshes. Then that's up to you. But buying characters out of shipments is only done if it's a brand new character. And I do want to say to this player that try to lower your spending just to engage in the game a little more and have a more realistic look of what players are like. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. spend your money whatever way you want, but there are more efficient ways that you can spend your money. And I think if you stay away from that, then you'll be fine. And if you wanted to whale out, then whale out on new marquees when they come out if they're looking good. So pretty much if you would have whaled out on something like Great Mothers, that could have shot you up and got their Datacron. And if you would have had the rest of the Night Sisters that come with the team and Morgan Elsbeth, of course, then that's something where if you whale on it and it gives you like a powerful boost into the game, or if you're whaling out on the new GL or something, like I understand a lot of people do that, and they do that because it gives you the most bang for your buck for whaling, because those are financially incentivized to be the best thing in the game at the time. So whaling out Executor is good. You turned a 9-month farm into, I don't know how fast you got it, and also you you kind of got your Phoenix up and running. A little bit of the other bounty hunters and everything. You have, it looks like you are getting the Master Qui-Gon Padawan Obi-Wan, so getting those two to like relic 7, relic 9 or whatever, those are really good. You don't have to do that, but it's good. Even if you can get like Padme, you can put them with Padme with also with like Qui-Gon Jinn, or you have Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, you can do like Master Qui-Gon Jinn Padawan Obi-Wan. I will say your account's a little young to be doing the Omicrons on TW, so I would maybe hold off on those. I understand like Zetas, you're on a huge Zeta crunch, but essentially you can kind of like, yeah, it looks like I don't know if you like TW or if that's your thing, but early game you do want to, I think you want to focus on Grand Arena Omicrons primarily. So stuff like Wampa is great, Treya is great, Qui-Gon Jinn is great, Savage is great. The things like that are really helpful. So, and I would say try to stay out of shipments as much as you can, again, unless you're buying the new stuff. So sometimes it's not that bad to kind of have like a good pace, and you can, again, you can buy whatever you want, but be careful about what you're spending and how you're spending, because like you want to help support the game, you want to keep the game alive, you want to invest and build your roster as fast as you can. That's great, but they're like, buy things that are going to accelerate your account, because I've seen, especially right now, and you probably are really close to getting or you're not close to getting a GL, but like a GL would be great at this around this much GP, because you still have to do things like hard Conquest pretty soon, and having a GL is going to be able to break through that. So I would say the Lightspeed bundles should be coming sometime soon. So I think around November, December, hopefully we're going to get the SOKR Ray Lightspeed bundles. So I would say at the time, stay away from things that we know are going to come back as a Lightspeed bundle. So we know, we don't know, but pretty good chance that SOKR Ray is going to come back as a Lightspeed bundle. So try not to spend on things that can be fit into those with the Resistance and First Order. If you want a good GL right off the bat, Jabba's really good, Leia's really good. If you're not afraid of spending. So the problem with going for the newest GL Ahsoka, is there are kind of like soft limits on how you can whale on Conquest characters. So that is a little harder to unlock. Maybe you can do it, but you do have to get Kat, Commander Ahsoka Tano, who's a great character by all means. And if you had like a Padme team, she works out really well. Same thing as like Watt. Getting Watt shards is going to really slow you down. So there are some things that kind of like slow you down on certain characters in the game, like unlocking JMK, unlocking the Leviathan, unlocking GL Ahsoka. So those are going to be soft capped. So just be careful about what farms you choose. And there are ways to accelerate them. Like if you can beat the Proving Grounds, you can buy the Pass Plus, which is $30. And then you get 2 goes of Proving Grounds. And then you can use crystals. And then you can pretty much unlock it within 3 months, which is pretty quick for all of them. if you do that. And that's how I unlocked Malgus. I saved those crystals, so I didn't spend money on them, and then I bought the $30 pass a month. But that's $30 a month. It's very realistic. So I would say whatever GL you choose, I would stay away from, just right off the bat, JMK, SOKR, Ray, GL Ahsoka, just because those four have things that you just can't, or Ray and SOKR, while I do think they're good, you shouldn't spend hard money to unlock them when you can just farm something else and wait for that Lightspeed bundle to come out, and then you can just buy that. The rest of the Lightspeed bundles, I really don't know if they're going to come back or not, like the Night Sisters, the Geos, the Gas, all those Lightspeed bundles. I don't know. We don't know. They're too new. This is the first year, so it hasn't even been a full year since they've been out, so we don't know the pattern. We don't know what's happening. We just know that the SOKR and Ray bundles have come back. They seem to be very popular, so I could see them coming back, but I would stay away from those 4 GLs as your first GL. Good GLs that give you a lot of power and would really boost your account, going for something like Jabba Leia is really good. And I think you identified that, hey, no matter what I do with mods, it's really hard to just like expand on mods or accelerate your mods. Jabba is a game changer for that. Do you know what's also a game changer? Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan. And what I hope is at some point when you play this game, you're going to reach a point where you realize that, like, hey, I don't have to whale out because the pace that I'm progressing is pretty good. And then that would be great if you just like light spend, or you only like whale out on the new things. So I would like you to get to a point where you could do that. And a good way of doing that is assault battles. Like, even though you're getting a lot of stuff into your account, it's also smart to still farm things that are going to give you more resources, because there's so many things that you could run out of, that it's smart to focus on things that still give you more resources, so you can at least focus your funds on things that matter instead of having to whale out on stuff that doesn't matter because you just don't have that foundation. So I would still say since you already have Executor, you can still finish your Imperial Troopers if you want to. So you did finish your Imperial Troopers. Watch my guide as far as beating the events. You way over gear it, so you should be fine. Range Trooper does go with Piet, Dark Trooper, Veers, Stark, or you can use Moff Gideon in there. If you use Moff Gideon for the assault battle, just make sure you don't use control the situation, and your gear levels as you have them right here are perfectly fine. It looks like you're building an Iden team. You don't have to go super hard into relics for the Iden team. You can just, like, your relics here are fine. You can leave Range Trooper if you want, or you can take him to relics if you want. And then these guys, the Iden team isn't super great anymore. Like Stormtrooper, Moff Gideon, the Scout Trooper kind of goes with the Imperial Remnant team, and the Imperial Remnants is the up and coming one. So while Iden is good, I think where you have right now, you don't have to invest more into these Imperial Troopers. They're perfectly fine. I would say that I would like you to start working towards a GL though. So CLS Rebels is really good. I see you have a few of them here. So you have CLS Han. Okay, so you don't have Chewbacca built up. You don't have 3PO and Chewpio and C3PO. So that's what you're missing. So C3PO, you should farm your Ewoks to get C3PO. So you are going to have to get this up. So you'll have to farm Chief Chirpa. I would recommend Ewok Elder, Chief Chirpa, Paplu, Nisa, and Wicket as your Ewoks. If you want to, you can fit in Logray in there. But Wicket, Nisa are really good. Nisa makes the event way easier, so you don't have to spend a ton of resources to unlock C3PO. So that would be great too, so that you can finish off that team. That would be good. You can not a huge thing, but they do get CT3 for their Rebel Assault battle, so that would be really useful. You probably can do it right now with Captain Han Solo or even Rebel Officer Leia Organa as your 5th instead of C3PO. It's using CLS. C3PO does make it a ton easier. You also could do it with Mon Mothma if you had her, but you don't. So you don't have to rush her or anything to get that done. First, I would finish off your Jedi bros though. So the Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon is going to be a really good return of investment. You already have them both at relics. If you take them at relic 9, they're going to give you relic 9 materials pretty much forever with their assault battle. It gives you a ton of credits. It gives you some slicing materials. It gives you some signal data. So it's a good farm as far as taking them to relic 9. I took mine to relic 9. I think they're well worth it. Other than that, I would say the finisher CLS, Jedi Bros, Jabba, into Leia would be really strong. After you're done with Leia, you can get the Profundity. But Leia and Jabba are really, really strong Jedis. I'm sorry, really strong GLs. And that's going to hold you off for a little bit. And as you go, you just kind of like fit in an assault battle with a GL or a GL ship. So you go like Jedi Bros, you already have the Imperial Troopers, passively start farming C3PO, or you have to get them C3PO to unlock Jedi Knight Luke to unlock all the characters. Please don't wail on character shards that are accelerated. That's a huge waste of money. You don't have to double farm them either. You can just single farm them and use your energy because there's so many things in the game. So you can double farm if you really want to. It's 25 crystals, but I always say this as someone who doesn't spend a lot of money on crystals, or so you can farm 2 characters and it's just as fast as double farming the characters, if that makes sense. So if you farm 4 characters at the same time, it's the same amount of time if you double farm 2 characters and then double farm 2 characters. It's the same thing. You're just getting something useful a little faster, but I don't think it's worth it overall. So instead of, if I want to farm something, I don't double farm it. I just made sure I farmed more things. So if you have the energy, then farm a different farm, and just kind of like choose what you're going to do overall as like in order of what you're going to do. So if you're planning on farming like Jabba, then Leia, or Jedi Knight Luke, then Jabba, then Leia, then make sure your main farms are the Jedi Knight Luke ones, then your second farms are the Jabba ones, and if you still have more energy, then start farming the Leia ones. But you don't have to like accelerate all those at the same time. If you have more resources than you want to, then side farms you can do is like Traya and the Sith farms. Those are really easy, really good characters. So it would be nice if you got like Savage up and running, Darth Traya, Nihilus, even the Sith Empire characters, because you do have Jedi Knight Revan. So if you started farming Darth Revan with Basilisk Shan and all those characters, then get your Sith Empire Trooper, Sith Marauder up and running. That's a really strong team. You can use them for Leviathan later on. Sith Marauder is needed for Sith Eternal Empire. So that things like that where you can like side farm stuff is really good. But if you're just trying to like accelerate everything as fast as you can, I would say you can side farm things and kind of finish them quicker than putting all your money into things like shards, which is a huge money sink, where instead you can just spend smartly on things like Chirotech or whatever it is that you need to accelerate with your bottlenecks. But just know that there's going to be tons of bottlenecks, and it's going to cost tons and tons of money to try to catch up to like 8 or 9 years worth of resources. And when you want instant resources, it's just not cost effective. So it's up to you on how you spend your money. You can do whatever you want, but I would try to spend money on things that are like hard and bottlenecks, like Chirotech or signal data or things like that, and buy smart packs that come weekly and try to lower your spending to that. And I think that'll help your bottleneck situation. And as soon as you start getting some lightspeed bundles too, because here shortly you should get SOKR Ray or whatever else that's going to come, and then you'll start seeing some true power. And I do think once you get your first GL, you're going to see that a different tier of gameplay, and it makes a lot of things easy, like cheesing galactic challenges or getting through Conquest, and it's just fun to play. So I would say, kind of temper your spending a little bit. Focus on what's important. Don't wail out on shipments for shards unless it's super brand new characters that just came out. And if you do that, you have to fully commit into them, because they're going to bring like a huge boost into your account and make you very difficult to beat. Because I promise you, if you would have done something like farmed those new Night Sisters and geared them up and put them on GAC on defense, you would just shoot up. No one would be able to beat you. So I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's what whales do. And why they spend money is because it gives them such a huge advantage in Grand Arena and TW. So if you're going to whale out on the shards for new things, buy like Kyrotech and signal data to get those new things up, and then like backlog, work on the shards for older stuff. And then as you hit bottlenecks, if you want to accelerate it, you can. Just know that you're going to be hitting bottleneck after bottleneck after bottleneck, and there's not much you can do. I would say that a lot of times there's those Kyrotechs for like that's like close to 250 crystals for those daily deals. Those are a good deal if that's what you want to get some more, or I'm sorry, for the Zetas, about 250 or 200 for each Zeta piece. Sometimes I even buy those with crystals because I have kind of like an excess of them. So if you want to do that, that would be good, but not entirely necessary, because it's still really hard to buy Zetas, and CG prices them super high, same as those Omicron abilities. So I would be careful on just buying some stuff straight up and whaling on shipments for characters, again, unless it's like super brand new. I will say buying shipments is a lot cheaper, about double the cost for new characters, than buying the gamble packs. Because if you buy the gamble packs, it's about $300, where if you buy shipments, it's closer to $150. So that's a good way that some people do. And then if you take them to 6 stars for the new marquee events, then they'll pretty much get the 7th star free, just if you play it for the event over the course of the 7 days, and then you'll still get the Datacron that comes with it. Also, as you start, like, I would be really hesitant on spending money on Datacrons, especially where you are in the game. So the way that you just do the normal, even 50 or 100 refreshes in Conquest and farm the material, and that's how you farm Datacrons. Like, try not to spend money. It is limited power. You are not at the point where you could fully maximize Datacrons, and it's good that you're at least engaging in them, but please don't drop like thousands of dollars, have like tons and tons of Datacrons here, and you don't have the roster to really kind of maximize on it. Because the way that Grand Arena is designed, sooner or later, no matter how much money you spend, you're going to hit a wall. So it's best to just temper your expectations. Don't expect to beat everyone. Grow your account at a pace that you're comfortable with. Try not to overly spend on things that you can get really quickly, but you just want it now, because that's not going to give you lasting buying power for your money. An equivalent would be, instead of buying, I don't know, like a Mercedes or a top end car, I don't know what car would be a top end for what you would want, but like a nice car, instead of buying a super top end vehicle, you're spending like a ton of money to buy like a Kia or something, and I wouldn't do that, because you don't have to, like, spend smartly, turn this account into a top end account by kind of farming smartly, farming new things that are worth it, farming things that are going to give you more resources that allow you to accelerate your account, farming things that have lasting power. Because like a R8, the R8 executor you have is very strong. We're going to get a new ship soon for Dengar. That's gonna elevate that that executor as well. But I did notice that you're not attacking in fleet arena because you were number 85 on your fleet arena. So if you are going to do something like whale on your fleets, then get in, at least engage in it. Start getting to first every day, first at least top 5, and that's going to give you free crystals. Not only that, it gives you fleet currency for the for your shipments, and then you can buy zetas. And it may seem negligible, but learning how to play this game efficiently is going to make you a better player. So you don't have to, but over time, getting those crystals every day add up to a lot of money worth of crystals. And the more crystals that you earn through the game, the more that you engage in the game, the more that you can like it, the more, like, I don't know, like the better you'll feel about what you have in your account. Because there's plenty of people who well out in this game, like tons and tons of people. And there's plenty of people that spend money, but they do things, they spend money to push their account, accelerate it, give them a huge advantage, and then start playing the game to reap those benefits. So like taking advantage in fleets, that's a benefit. And if I was going to spend a ridiculous amount of money, I would buy I would whale out on like the latest fleet. I would try to get the best GLs. I would get all the assault battles, and then I would get all that income, and then I would just ride my laurels and start playing the game from there, and just using like light spending to break whatever bottlenecks, and then just those smart packs that come weekly, just to make sure I'm accelerating at a fast pace. So I would say if you're going to continue doing this, stay out of shipments, especially weekly shipments, as best you can. Buy weekly packs that are just like good money, the $10 or $5 packs that are good. But again, you spend your money whatever you want, but at least stop buying shards for cash. Because if you bought like all these shards for money just buy it as fast as you can because all these are in here, you don't have to do that. I will say this. So I have been playing for 3 years, so I have all the shards for fleets, and I have most of all the shards except for the very new things for characters, but I don't have all the GLs, I don't have all the legendary characters, because shards aren't the bottleneck for old things. Those are accelerated. The bottlenecks for new things are like signal data, chirotech, bronzium wiring, CCBs. So you're going to hit those. So, and you can absolutely spend like $100 a week or something, as long as you did it smartly, and you would push yourself really, really far in this game really, really fast. So I would say kind of temper your expectations of what you expect and stop accelerating things that don't matter, like character shards for old characters. And then start, if you are going to spend money, start putting it on things that actually matter. And that are going to give you more things. Like I said, the Master Qui-Gon Padawan Obi-Wan, you take them to R9, they're going to give you a return of investment because they're going to give you free R9 material and tons of credits. Jabba's going to give you tons of mod material with Smuggler's Run 2. So there's things like that. Like if you have your super awesome executor, then start investing in fleet arena and start at least getting top 5 every day so that you get a return of investment for your executor. Not only that, it helps you learn the fleet, because if you're playing every day, you're doing your attacks, then you're learning how to use your ship. Otherwise you won't get to use it and you won't get to learn it, and now's the time to do that. Also, zetas, you have to be very, very, very strict on where you use your zetas. Like, we're all in a zeta crunch. There's some ways that you can buy zetas through, if you favorites a bunch of characters that need zetas, then your daily deals should come with zetas. And if the middle one has like 7 zetas, then yeah, buy that, and that's going to help you overall. But you have to be very, very strict on which zetas you use and which you place, because it's going to be very, very hard. Get into a good guild. I wish I can't go and look at your stuff. Maybe I'll pause it for a second near the end and kind of look at your guild and make sure that you're in a guild that's appropriate for your amount of pace that you're growing, so that you can, because guild income is huge. Like you can spend all you want, and if you're in a bad guild, you're not going to progress in a way that matters, because that Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 is very, very important. That get 1, get 2, get 3 also very important. So being in a good guild for where you need to be is going to be huge for your account. So make sure you're engaging in a good guild, that it's growing, and your account is going to grow really quick. So you have to be comfortable with the fact that you may be changing guilds every 3 months or every few months as your account expands, if you continue with a similar level of spending. So I would say don't make friends, engage in the community, but just as you grow past where you should be, then upgrade into a guild that's more appropriate for your size. And a good rule of thumb is about 50 million or times your GP by 50, and then add on another 50 million, and then that's what you should be looking for. But also you want things like decent raid participation for where they are. You want them to be doing well in TB compared to what they can get, and then just also at least a winning TW record, like over 50% or above. I know you probably don't have the full knowledge and scope of like how to use your roster as it will continue to grow, but it's going to be important to have good guild leaders who's going to at least be able to help you learn your characters. And content creators, it seems like you do watch them, and that's going to be a great way to learn your roster. That's how I learned when I first started playing, was just by watching others. So that's a great avenue to learn in this game. So let's look at your speeds real quick. So you said, yeah, so your mods are struggling. I would never usually look at an account mods that's this young. I would say, if you haven't already, you should watch my mod guides, because your mods are just not good. And again, I understand the level of where you're playing is really hard, but if you're doing double refreshes for mod energy, that's like double what I have. The difference is I do have other avenues like Galactic Challenges. I have Smuggler's Run 2. I have my Master Qui-Gon Padawan Obi-Wan at R9. So I do have other avenues to earn the mod energy. But the big thing I'm learning, or I know, is just how to mod my characters. Like, yeah. So these a good example is like Dark Trooper. He wants offensive mods. He wants to do just like a ton of damage. So his speed is negligible. It doesn't have to be super fast, but he does assist a lot, because Piet is going to put his mark on him. So he's going to do Imperial Ambition on him, and then he's just going to assist all the time, and he just like, he's the damage of the team. So you want him to have tons and tons of offense. So I have offense primary on the arrow, on the triangle, and the cross, and as much offense percent as I can get on the diamond and the circle. So again, you've only been playing for 3 months, so I have zero expectations of what your mods can be, and I understand that it's a very, very unforgiving system, and it's very hard to progress them at a pace that is good. Just know, farming the things that can help your account mod wise will help, and you're gonna have a bad mod score for a very long time until you kind of like learn the system, perfect it, and even then you can try to buy some mod packs or whatever. I don't know if that's something you'd be willing to do, but and just doing 100 refreshes, but as long as you learn how high potential mods, then you're going to be in a better place. And at least, because you don't need all 6-dot mods on all your characters. If you look at my characters, not all my characters have 6-dot mods. Like, believe it or not, even some of my fastest characters, like Mara Jade is my second fastest character in my account, she's missing a 6 dot mod, and it's fine. Like, you don't, all your characters don't have to have 6 dot mods. There are some pilots that would like them, and there are some characters that you need 6 dot mods no matter what. Like General Grievous, he's a pilot. He needs the 6 dot mods because he needs health primaries, and health primaries are really strong at 6 dots compared to 5, because it's 16% compared to 5.88%. So stuff like that is important. But yeah, so I totally get it. Your mods just aren't there, and that's fine. But as long as you learn mods, start engaging in them, and I couldn't imagine at 3 months trying to learn this game and trying to accelerate that in the way that you have. So I know it's probably very difficult. The learning curve in this game is very steep. There's like tons and tons and tons of things that you need to know to be able to play well. Not only just building your account, playing all the different game modes, being efficient in all the game modes, but also executing in PvP. Like, the knowledge that you need to do that is very difficult, and I would say that's what makes this game so fun. So if what you enjoy in the game is leveling up your characters as fast as you can, just know that sooner or later you're gonna hit a wall. So try to find avenues of things that you enjoy, and then try to build a roster around that. So I enjoyed building my account as fast as possible, and I just can't spend that type of money. So I put my effort into my characters, so that I tried to get characters that would give me a return, so that the next thing I farm is even faster, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And luckily, it turns out that when you farm with efficiency, it also, like, the characters that you farm for that, like the assault battles, Jabba, ships and fleets, is actually really great for PvP, because those characters are really strong too. So if you wanted to do that, that's also a really good way to build a well-rounded, strong roster. So I did that through my hierarchy of needs, is how my philosophy of how to build an account. So if you watch that, that's going to teach you kind of the way to build an account so that you can get more resources, which is also a way to build a really strong account. But if you also want to spend money to get a competitive edge, then as new marquees come out, spend money on that, unlock the new things as you can that are realistic, that is possible, that's not gated behind like soft paywalls. Then that's going to give you the best bang for your buck, and that's what people spend their money on those who whale in this game. And that's probably the best avenue of like buying the new characters, because they're so strong. Because if you would because to be completely honest, like, this account, I would have never guessed. I wouldn't have guessed it's a 3-month account. But with Lightspeed bundles, it's hard to take a look at an account and be like, it's this year's old or it's this old. So just know that you're gonna get Lightspeed bundles coming shortly, and they come at a pretty regular pace, and they're going to give you like a lot of power for really bang for your buck stuff that's going to handle a lot of this old stuff. And then if you farm things that give you more resources, and then focus on also, if you want to, and if you like the characters, the new characters, then that's probably a good balance between like spending money to accelerate your account, allowing Lightspeed bundles to fill the kind of the holes that are backlogged of things that you don't really care about, but also since you're accelerating so fast, farming things that are going to give you more resources so that you can fill in the holes in your account faster. So that's my best advice for you. As far as this account goes, I would say that I would like you to get your Wampa up and running soon. Give her Zeta and her Omicron. I would like you to finish the Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon to R9. I would like you to get Ewoks so that you can get C-3PO, so that you can finish your CLS team. You don't really have the Zetas to do Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revan, Malik, but I would like you to start working towards, if you can, Jedi Knight Luke into Jabba as your first main GL. and that's going to be really good for your account. It also gives you Fennec, which is a good bounty hunter as well. So there's a lot of good things. I would say focus your Omicrons on GAC Omicrons first. Feel free to message in my Discord asking advice on Omicrons if you have questions on which one's good, or you can post in general and ask everyone, and that we're more than happy to discuss like which Omicrons are best for your account, because they're very, very difficult. And they're very hard to farm, and they are the hardest resources in this game to get, so you don't want to waste them. And I'm not saying you have any that are wasted. I just don't think that for TW Omicrons you should only invest in them if the entirety of your guild's investing in them. So if your guild's like, hey, we need these Omicrons because that's what our defense is in TW, then you invest in those Omicrons so that you can get the bang for your buck and you can start winning TW. Because if one person has a TW Omicron, it's not going to move the needle. But if all 50 or 40 people have a TW Omicron, then that's where you start making some plays in TW to win some games. So that's what I would recommend as far as that. If you wanted a side farm, so Starkiller did have a Lightspeed bundle too. I don't know if it's going to come back, but farming something like Mara Jade Dash Rendar, while Starkiller is a good character unless you're like really committed to getting him as soon as you can, I would say you could wait till at least the New Year's to see if his Lightspeed bundle comes back, and you could probably focus on some other stuff that would be good too. So again, farm what you want, do what you want, but that's what I would say. Like, but Starkiller is good, like a really fun character to farm if that's what you want. But do whatever you want. The amount that you spend, your account is gonna probably shoot past mine, as long as you start, like, you maintain a steady pace of spending. But just please try to be a little more selective on what you're spending on and ensuring that it's worth accelerating, because if you farm something, it should give you something back, especially in the early game. So that's what I would say. Thanks for letting me look at your account. I really did. Very interesting very interesting situation, very difficult game to kind of like push to the end game, but do your best. All right, let's look at your fleets real quick. So fleet credits and stuff you break pretty like after like 2 years, so it's gonna be hard. I will say that you have a decent Empire fleet here. So the TIE Defender is really good, as you probably know. This is probably where your spending is on these fleets too. So like ship credits you can get with Mark 1 currency too. And also if you started engaging it more in Fleet Arena, you get these ship credits as well. And I don't want to see you spending money on things like credits or ship credits. Again, you can do whatever you want, but it's not a good deal. And you do get these at a pretty decent pace. So yeah. But Empire is a really good fleet. You already have the finalizer. That's pretty surprising. Yeah, so pretty soon you need to start working towards, and again, it's hard to accelerate these, but I would start using your Mark currencies to farm the Mark II, to farm the Malevolence. You don't have to accelerate these fleet shards. Again, if you're using all your energy, just spread your energy out, and it seems slower, but it's just as fast if you farm if you farm 2 things at the same time, or like 4 things at the same time, instead of accelerating 2 farms and then another 2 farms after that. Like, it's the same pace. You're just one person spent crystals while the other didn't. So just farm the more things if you have the credits, or if you have the energy, then farming and accelerating by like double farming or triple farming. So you double or triple farm something when you have a deadline and you need to, or if you're only waiting on one thing to finish a farm, but it shouldn't be like your average, because again, like shards are not the bottlenecks for most, or at the end game. But again, like you can do whatever you want and kind of like figure out a pace that works best for you. But as far as fleets, I would side farm your Malevolence and your Negotiator farms. So that's a BTL Y-Wing. You are Galactic Republic. So those are really good farms. You can kind of wait on Finalizer if I were you, because you can just buy this for like $15 when it comes back. Geos are a good side farm too, really easy to gear. The fleet is needed for Malevolence. Empire is good, so that's a really good fleet once you start doing proving grounds. So yeah, well, and pretty soon you're going to be close to proving grounds, and you're going to want those conquest characters, and that's where a GL would really help you, especially once you get once the SOKR Lightspeed bundle comes out. I have a guide on how you can do that with Malik. There's also a new way to kind of do it using Night Sisters and Nihilus and Treya. So you can do that too. So there's a lot of different ways that you can beat it. You can do it with Leia. Leia is really good. I'm sure if you get Leia, you can beat all the lights or all the proving grounds and unlock it really quick. So you just gotta kind of like choose what you want to do and do that. But as far as the ships, like, yeah, you should do Profundity is good. You don't have to accelerate Profundity. If you do that, I would like you to do it after you farmed like Jabba, Leia, and then into Profundity, because you're not even engaging fully in your fleets. And if you were gonna like whale out on a fleet, then in 2025 a new fleet's gonna come out. So I would like you to be in a place where you can do well enough in hard conquest that you can farm the ship from Conquest so that you can get that new 2025 fleet. So that's why I would like you to kind of like improve. You already have a banger executor. That's why I would like you to get some more ground stuff so that you can start doing better in Conquest, because all the best things are kind of like locked behind proving grounds in Conquest. So you do need to get some GLs. So like Jabba, Leia, really good. You can use your get 3 towards farming Watt, or you can be in a guild that gives good Watt shards right now. But I don't know how long you'd be willing to stay in a guild that does Watt, Darkside TB. So you might be stuck just spending your get 3 on Watt shards and probably just buying his shards whenever they come in a pack. So, like it's up to you. You kind of have to like choose your own journey when this game comes, as far as this game goes. But that's what I would recommend as far as like ground farming path. Farm 2 GLs at least, like Leia, Jabba, Leia. They're not going to get a Lightspeed bundle. Once the Lightspeed bundles come back for SOKR Ray, unlock those. Make sure you're maximizing Conquest and Proving Grounds to your best ability. Side farm all these ships. Like every ship's important. As far as side farm, it does not mean spend money to unlock the shards. You can just spend your energy, all the hard nodes, and just like farm them at a pace, because as you can see, if you accelerate something and you don't have the ship credits, you don't have the ship omegas, you don't have all the other abilities and things, then you're not really like spending for anything. You're just spending money to spend money. So there's only so fast that you can progress in this game, and spending smartly is going to get you there to punch through those bottlenecks. But accelerating like all these things and see how they're all like level 1 isn't going to help your account. That's not like long lasting effects. So you want to engage in all the things that you can, so you can get those like negligible materials that people don't think about, that you do have to think about because your account is so young. And then using money to spend in a smart way that's going to help you like break through these things. But I would like to see the Malevolence here as your next fleet. Chimera you can build up. That would probably be the next thing I would build up if here. Like I would focus on Executor and Chimera. Malevolence, once you unlock that with your Mark 2, and then Negotiator after that, and then you can kind of like go into the rest of them from there. Maybe Profundity after that, and then Leviathan or the 2025 fleet or something. But just know, you know, there's only so fast you can unlock a lot of these things. So you kind of gotta work at a pace that is smart and just break through bottlenecks smartly, because as you know, like the bottlenecks are endless and you're always, it's just going to be a never ending grind of like spending to accelerate. And that's why I don't spend too much in this game, is because the game is designed to progress at a certain speed. But what you can do is you can spend to accelerate the newest thing, and things only come out at a certain pace. So if you whale out on the newest stuff, use your whatever you're going to spend towards getting those up and running, and then slowly working on the back end things, then I think you'll be at a much better place. Your account will be much stronger, and then you'll have more to show for what you're doing. But yeah, thanks again. I really do appreciate this support, your kind words, and if you have if you have any questions, please hit me up. And but otherwise, thanks for letting me look at your account again. So I'm sure we're gonna have tons of comments in the comments. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Take care.